I was thinking it.
We ready? It's 6 o'clock, time to call the order this meeting, the Mount Pleasant Municipal Planning Commission meeting. At this time, I'd ask you to stand. Bobby Nutter lead us in the invocation, and John Hunter lead us in the pledge.
Let's pray. Dear God, thank you for this day you've given us and all the many blessings you give us from time to time. And dear Lord, we're so grateful for the blessings you provided this community, and we ask that you continue to bless this community. And dear Lord, as we're about to take up the business here tonight that's presented in front of us, let us do so in a manner that's pleasing to you. And dear God, continue to keep our first responders and our military men and women safe. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Let the minutes reflect we have enough for a quorum here. Item number 3 would be approval of the agenda tonight.
Make a motion, we approve the
I
agenda.
have a motion
Second.
and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Number 4, approval of minutes from prior meeting, September 13th, 2022.
I'll make a motion, we approve those minutes.
I have a motion
Second.
and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Number 5, plat approvals. This time I'll turn it to Rodney.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, on the agenda tonight is 2022-C-063 preliminary plat for 2061 Trilogy Lane and 6720 Polk Lane. TKC Architect and Engineering has submitted a preliminary plat for the property located on Trilogy Lane and Polk Lane for further development. Total property is 135.4 acres. We did send back one request on the comments from the staff. Was there was one entrance to this property off Polk Lane. They have submitted the second entrance as an emergency entrance off of Trilogy Lane. The TKC and them is represented here tonight if you would like to talk to them about.
Number 1, have your staff and your department.
Per the zoning map and the zoning ordinance, the property there is zoned R1, so it does fit with the 18,000 square foot lot sizes that is recommended for.
Meet all the
zone.
requirements?
Yes, sir.
And I know Mr. Hager's not here because he's not with Lowson Associates. Did we get any comments or feedback from
That was
them?
the only one, was the one-way thing. In
So
there.
subdivision regs require 2 entrances? Or
This is just for an emergency entrance, so that way if something does happen on that side, there is another way in for emergency personnel,
and that's what's required in the subdivision regs?
which we're updating those
Right.
now. So,
This is an open meeting at this time. Anyone that signed up to discuss this matter, when you come forward, you state your name and your address, and you'll be given a time of 3 minutes to speak on this matter here. Our first one is Murray Cobbett.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Murray Cobbett, and the first and foremost thing I'd like to do is thank you for your service to this board, this community. I know I've been in those positions, and I know exactly how hard it can be. With that being said, you have a great responsibility to this community, a big responsibility. My deed states that this lot that they're trying to do, and I know y'all can rewrite these covenants if you want to, but we might as well throw this stuff out the door if that's the way we're going to operate our society. States that these lots can only be divided 3 ways. Lance Horton is here representing his lot. I'm here representing mine. And I'm sure Justin Hicks is here representing his. So with that being said, he's aware of, because it's 1 house per lot. He took 2 houses, put them together in that rear lot. Also, the city services. I've been out there for 10 years paying property tax religiously, and I still don't have a good source of fire protection. I get a ride by the police officers, gas and water, or sewer. The sewer plant is on its last leg, and y'all gonna add 100 and some odd houses to it. The cemetery, the African American cemetery, Has anybody thought about that? Where he's gonna come out, there's a clump of trees that protect that cemetery. If that were my people there, and you started dynamiting, and their tombstones got broke, I'd probably be upset. Not to mention the damage it's gonna do to my home. It's a flood zone. Polk Lane's in a shamble now. The growth and travel that we're gonna have on it. Can the city afford to fix that? The lot sizes. I understand the R1 zoning says you can put 2.5 homes per acre. Okay, that's your R1 zoning. The builders don't care, all right? When he gets his money, he moves on. The people of the city of Mount Pleasant's gonna be left holding the bag. So all these pump stations and things that they're gonna have to put in there to get back to the sewer plant, who's gonna be left holding the bag for that? The money and the revenue, these people are working out of Mount Pleasant. They're gonna buy these homes and they're gonna have their jobs in Nashville and Franklin. We'll get the tax dollars from their property tax. But they're not gonna buy their gas here. They're not gonna buy their groceries here. They're not gonna do any of that. Mount Pleasant will become affordable housing for Nashville and Franklin. So I ask you to ask yourself, what kind of town do you want to leave your children and grandchildren? I myself want to be able to have my children come back and be a part of this community, hang around. The reason I didn't buy the property that Mr. Horton bought to give to my 3 kids was because it couldn't be split 3 different ways. So I passed on that opportunity. Knowing now what I know, knowing then what I know now, I would have brought the property. So I ask yourself again, imagine if you want to see progress done wrong, drive north at about 5 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning. When you get to Thompson Station in Spring Hill, you'll see progress done wrong. You, ladies and gentlemen, will make decisions here tonight that will affect this community for decades. So I ask you, do the right thing and do the right thing for this community. Ask yourself, do you want a transitory community or do you want a community where everybody knows your name? You can make it, I do not mind progress. In fact, I work in a business that enjoys progress, but I want progress done right. And I realize that people want to sell lots, make money, and things like that. But I also live here, and I've lived here all my life. And I want to continue living here and raising my grandchildren here. I respect your time limit. And again, I appreciate the job you do. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a Will Croker. I probably butchered that, but
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Will Croker. I'm here representing my wife Hannah and I. And we
take your name and
Will
address,
Croker,
please.
6708 Polk Lane, Columbia, Tennessee, or Mount Pleasant city limits. I'm here just to raise my hand and my voice. Say we don't want this. We don't want this to be approved. We live on the other side where there's a creek going through. It's being approved. That water comes down the valley. Water comes down this valley. We're already swampy as it is. All these houses. I work in the construction industry. I know what it does and what it takes to move all this earth. We also have cattle on our property. We love what we do. We have agriculture, due and per the covenants that were instated. We bought on this day. We closed on our house in 2018. We were not aware of any rezoning that was happening beyond our house. It was nobody can subdivide without agreements upon, which are those 3 lots. And our lot is a part of what is Westbrook subdivision. Now, what Mr. Kuhn bought prior to them, so we don't fall under those covenants, but we want to uphold those in any way possible. So my ask and my plea is, do not let this happen. The flooding is ridiculous as it is. We have a washout in our driveway, and like Mr. Murray said, he's going to build and then he's going to leave, and then I'll lose sunshine, I'll lose the tree line, all that. So please don't take my conciseness as lack of passion. I thank you guys for what you do, and I just implore you all to consider what we're saying. Thank you.
thank you. Hannah?
Hello, I'm Hannah Croker, 6708 Polk Lane. I'm Will's wife. I just want to also reiterate what he said, and I did have a couple questions if y'all are willing to answer. When did this rezoning happen in 2018? From agriculture to, I guess, more.
He's talking about the entire zoning ordinance. It was all.
Yeah.
That's allowed, yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if y'all want to answer now. Or
It was done in 2018. It took over a year and a half to do. There were probably 6 public hearings, a lot of public input, and
Okay.
everything was addressed at that point.
Okay, I just, because we had to sign the contract and everything, so I don't know
Yeah.
why we weren't told.
There's a lot of public notice, not that everybody reads the paper, and a lot of things on our Facebook. We wanted to get as many people here as
Okay.
possible to comment, and we had meetings during the day, night, community center,
Thank you.
everywhere, so.
And then I guess I was taking a look at some of your stuff online about the commission, just kind of your planning for the future. I would like an updated, I guess, plan, because everything is from like 2009 maybe. And so when I was going on, I had no information whatsoever. I went even to Murray County to the office with the deeds, and I looked, and even everything on their wall was not updated at all. It was so what I saw was that we were in a rural neighborhood, and so that was the only thing that I was able to understand, is that I'm in a rural neighborhood with my lot size being like, I don't know, 5 acres and a house on 5 acres. And so I'm just concerned about preserving the rural historic sites of Rattle and Snap, and also the rural character of Polk Lane and just the rural community. And because of that, I know there's going to have to be stoplights added at Polk Lane and Trotwood. I know that there's going to have to be roads. Our hill on Polk Lane is already dangerous as it is with the traffic. The potholes are concerning. I just know everything's going to be affected. And like my husband said, we're on the very bottom. We're going to get washed out.
Thank you. Lance Horton.
Guys, I am Lance Horton. I live at 6734 Polk Lane. My 5-acre lot adjoins is beside Mr. Colvitz. I bought that lot a few years ago, built a house on it, started a house on it 3 years ago, 4 years ago actually, finished it. I've been there 2 years almost to the day. My wife and my 2 kids, I've lived in Columbia, the Columbia area for over a decade now. My wife and 2 kids, we lived in the Holyoke area. I lived in a small subdivision that very quickly started becoming a large subdivision, and it got to the point to where I didn't want to be in a situation where there are houses on top of me. So we found the lot, saw the lot for sale, was able to purchase that lot. And I went and I built my forever home, or at least what I thought was going to be my forever home. And one of the stipulations on that was I was under the understanding that because of our deed and the language in there was that there could only be one home on the 20 acres that was behind us and beside Mr. Colvett. And then I found out recently that that's apparently not the case, that can be changed. And when I get the plat, basically see that there's going to be houses basically right on top of me, all alongside me. And so the house that I built that was going to be my forever home and my family, we may have to rethink that now, especially if you guys allow them to proceed with this. And I just want to add, like Mr. Colvett said, and what's already been mentioned, you know, I don't fault progress. I understand, you know, these guys are just, that's what they do. They're trying to make money. They're not from here. They don't live here. They're basically coming in, going to throw 100-something houses up, make their tons of money, and they're going to head on out and go find another place and do the exact same thing. Okay, they don't care about what happens and the aftermath of it. It's not their concern. So I just plead you guys, you know, do the right thing here. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyone else here to speak on this matter tonight? Please come forward, state your name and address.
My name is Derek Davis. This is my wife, Lenny Davis. We live in Columbia. This is our special needs child.
118 Jefferson Drive.
118 Jefferson Drive
Jefferson Drive?
in Columbia. Yes.
You own property in Mount Pleasant?
No.
Is that allowable?
Yes, if you want it to be.
Let's hear what he has to say.
Go ahead.
Well, we're here regarding the cemetery. The cemetery, as it was referred to just earlier, that is an African American cemetery, and it is that because historically, as most of you know, Black people at that time were not allowed to be buried anywhere else. So now they are there, and we are hoping and praying that your plans for development would not offset that or destroy that. They are there because they were not allowed to be anywhere else because of injustices. And we hope this is not going to be another injustice against that heritage.
And I do have, my ancestors are there at that cemetery, the Websters and Flemings. And also when I look online, it said the state of Tennessee cemeteries are protected under state law. It is illegal to knowingly tamper or excavate or human burial grave sites. I'm sure more African Americans would have been here. Someone called us today and was telling us, what was going on. I would hate to know that this happened, and I used to go to Westbrook's church. So, I remember when they took the land and built the houses that they did there. I would just hate to know that this happened and they dynamiting and my ancestors' bodies are, all over the street.
Ancestors dating back to before, to slavery.
And I just know that, it's not important to a lot of people, but it is important to a lot of people. I think that would be here if they had known about what was going on.
Okay, understand. Thank you for your time. Right at this time, I'd like to talk to the developer on this issue, if he's aware of it and stuff.
Yeah, where is that? Where is it?
On the
I
drive?
know where it's at right there.
Can you show me?
Are y'all aware of the cemetery and everything?
Yes, sir. My name's Cole Newton with TKC Architecture and Engineering. We're working on the preliminary plat with the developer. And so, the cemetery is off. It's not included in this property. It's off this property. So, we won't be.
It's not involved in any of the
It's not involved in anything we're going to be dealing with. It's off property. And I hear a lot of people talking about dynamite. Our goal is not to do any blasting. Our goal is to, minimize that. If we did have to do blasting, there would be a blasting company with monitors and everything set up at the property lines. But we're not, the goal is to avoid all that. But that's completely off our property.
Yeah.
So there would be no disturbing to it. There'd be nothing affecting any of the access to it or anything in regards to it.
Very good. What we need to know. To follow the rules instructed from our legal and our higher ups, you don't get a retake.
Okay, I'm just concerning this thing that was just brought up.
I can hear.
She said just about this issue that was just brought up.
The cemetery issue.
Just about the cemetery.
That was what it's about. He said it wasn't even on the property to be developed.
I understand, but may I please say one thing about it?
This letter.
Come forward.
Thank you so much. If this is a neighborhood that we are going to have like a ton of people in and something that we're going to continue doing on Polk Lane, we are going to have to address the roads. There is no shoulder. If we are going to address the road situation eventually, the cemetery graves are right on the road. You have to take that into consideration.
Yeah. Understand.
Yes.
Understand. Thank you. Anyone else here to speak on this matter? Come forward, state your name and address, please.
I didn't sign up, so I didn't know the protocol.
Yeah, that's fine. You're fine.
My name is Joel Rainey, my wife Natalie, 6740 Polk Lane. I own the property adjacent to what is being discussed this evening. So I'll be brief. I'll just go on record as to saying I have equal concerns to them. The density, the road, all the above. I mean, it's not uncommon, or you are smart enough and realize what you're doing here and what is being proposed here with the density is completely unlike what it is currently in that region, okay? And so it is certainly a departure, and so I would just like to be on record as to being concerned and expressing the same that has been expressed, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else here to speak on this matter?
You want me to address, can I talk to someone?
Please.
Please, yeah, I'd like to hear from
Yeah.
y'all.
So, we hear a lot of concern, and it's not unnormal to hear a lot of concern, anything you're looking to do. I mean, we are following the zoning regs. I think, we're trying our best to keep the density in line, so, as best as possible, right? I mean, per the zoning regs, we can put 332 lots out there, right? And we're down at 119. We're less than 1 acre per lot, and we're allowed a little bit over 2. So, I mean, we're, trying to work with it on that standpoint. We did do a traffic study. The subdivision regs do not even require a traffic study. The current subdivision regs don't require 2 entrances. We've got the 1 entrance off Pope. We've got the emergency access that we're going to put in to make sure we've got 2 entrances in and out of here for emergency. And so, trying to work through those things. We've been working with staff on the water and wastewater for, quite some time now. I think, staff's been great to work with, but I mean, we are trying our best to just think through everything that we're trying to put on the paper here to get approved tonight. And I think, from our standpoint, we want to have a good development. We do live in the community from Columbia, down even south of here, as part as our team. We may not live in Mount Pleasant, but we travel this area quite a bit. And so just trying to say we're trying to put our best foot forward in creating something we think is going to be a good product here that meets the subdivision regs.
Okay, thank you. I'm following protocol by our legal and higher ups. Any discussion from the board here?
Rodney, is there anything, I think you're going to answer, is there anything that doesn't meet the subdivision regs? I mean, the zoning's already there, but is there anything that doesn't meet
No.
subdivision regs?
No, sir, I even dove deep into these flats and the lot sizes and everything. They're all 18,000 square foot or more. There's several that are way more than 18,000 square foot, which is normal for R1 density.
All the setbacks.
All the setbacks, yes, sir. Everything meets what we have in place for R1 to be built on.
And Mr. Newton was correct that the traffic study is not required per the subregs, but you as a planning commission could have required that for sure.
Well, we've got a copy.
And they've already done
We've
it,
got a copy.
yeah, just so you're aware of that.
With the building, is it gonna be any dynamiting or rocks or anything like that?
That will be in the construction side of it. That's on down the road. I would not know that to know.
Any further discussion?
The only discussion I have is if they didn't want it zoned that way, we should have had that fight in 2018. It's really out of our control.
Right.
Because we don't really have that much power. If they meet what's for R1, there's really nothing else we can do about it as a board. Okay? So that fight. No, and I wasn't on the board when it got approved in 2018 either, but those are the rules we have to live by. If they meet our zoning.
So to help to move this along, so we've already had the public hearing, right? So the question before y'all is, does this site plan meet the subdivision regs and your zoning ordinance that you have right now?
We understand.
Yeah,
We understand. We understand.
If they meet all the check boxes, then we really, all we can do is approve it.
If not, I entertain a motion.
We can't, and if you have people speaking from the audience, we can't get that in the minute, so that makes it very difficult for us.
You want a motion?
Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve the preliminary plat for the Trilogy and Polk Lane project.
Have a motion
Second it.
and a second. Okay, you want to do a roll call on this, please?
Sure. Ms. Granberry?
No, that cemetery is historical and it's on historical domain and I can't risk that.
Bobby Nutt?
Yes.
Mr. Marshall?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Hunter?
Yes.
Number 6, rezoning request.
There are none, Mr. Chair.
Number 7, annexation request.
There are none.
Number 8, site plan request.
There are none, sir.
Number 9, old business.
There is none.
Number 10, other business.
I would like to express, I know we have a lot of this development going on. I have talked to just about each one of y'all personally. Let's sit down and have a meeting with Corey and try to discuss some alternatives in the long run for some different zones. Just to, that way we have a little more flexibility in the city, because the standards we have now, we don't have a lot of flexibility with. That way we're not singling out one subdivision or one property. We look at it as a whole and everybody's input on that.
Yeah, personally, I'd like to see some half acre and acre zoning in our policy book, something besides 4/10 of an acre.
And I would suggest,
Personally.
this has nothing to do with the item on the agenda, but I would suggest we kind of do a little bit of what you did back in 2018, have a few study sessions where Rodney's already looked at some different ideas that we can add to it, and it keeps coming up that we don't have that many options, and that would be something that will take some time and a lot of public input and a lot of meetings, but if you all are willing to do that, we can start setting that up.
I think we should, because as the city starts encroaching on the country, that we need to have some different rules.
Yeah.
There's not no options.
There are no options.
No.
There's no options as it states.
Yeah, once it's done, it's done.
That's
Right.
right.
And
No going back.
And we want to make sure that we can try and find some of that.
That's all I have.
We'll send to you some suggestions to start meeting and doing that.
Number 11 is board and staff comment. I got something to make a comment on this. This board here, as you're all aware of, is appointed. And the last 2 or 3 months, we've got a lot of slack here. And we come in here, we listen to all the arguments and the discussions. We turn stuff down. We don't get the backing of our city council. They vote on this to get their agenda, whereas some of these people on the city council needs to pick up some of these zoning books and stuff and go through the zoning on it. Just like John stated earlier, on this zoning and stuff, you meet all the requirements, setbacks, etc. These people can build. But, we look at it for the best interest of the citizens of Mount Pleasant and the city, not just to meet a public agenda and stuff. So that's all I got to say. This is a good board up here. We do the best we can up here and stuff. But I took it personal last month from our city council, which are elected officials, and they should remember that, of voting the way they voted after we voted something down twice. That's all I got to say.
I agree.
Citizens' comments, they've been done. Adjournment, I have a motion.
Yeah, one more gentleman would like to make
Okay.
one more comment at the end.
Official. I'm stepping on it.
Murray talk.
I understand.
Murray
that
talk.
this is gonna come up with-
No, wait a minute. I gotta do this right. I didn't let another citizen talk. I had to follow protocol. I'm sorry.
When it says citizen comments, why do you have it on the agenda?
Sir,
It has citizen
Comments
comments.
for the last.
that's what we done. That's what was signed up, and I let you speak.
Future, living by it, I never knew about the original rezone. So when you do this again, okay, you hear me or not, when you do it again, look around the area that's affected by it and knock on doors or do something, okay?
They sent out literatures and everything.
You didn't to me, I promise you. So again, I get it. And I
It was on the
appreciate your
website.
job.
It was.
on the website, on the wall.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Yes.
Second.
There you go, Kate.